health is physical wealth.
Hello, hello, hello. Today is November 6th, 2023. Are you ready for the new year? Are you ready for the new year? It's coming. It is almost here. Today, I want to talk a little bit and get some feedback from you. So we're going to do a little discussion today. Sorry, I have been a little busy. My schedule is not my own as of late. I've been getting really overwhelmed with work. So I try to set aside this time at night on a Monday to come on and do a free rendition of the Erudition Network's Adroit Living session. And the Adroit Living session on the Erudition Network is a volunteer interactive online program that's free for us to interact in a holistic way, where I talk about things that have a guided perspective. That means that it's peer-reviewed, study supported, and it speaks on the overall man in a holistic way. Hi, Mike. Thank you for joining. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You're going to like this topic. Okay, so the holistic nature of the conversation is to help support mental health, because mental health is physical wealth. And a lot of the topics are challenging to trendy subjects. So, again, this is the free rendition of the Adroit Living. So it's also going to be entertaining to, placate to the YouTube algorithm. So join in on the discussion. Now, today, I would like to talk about if I had just one wish. Okay, so think about it. Don't just answer right away. If you had one wish, what would that wish be? Sorry about that. I gotta have my little notes here. If you had one wish, what would it be? My wish, I wish I had just one wish, that if I could wish anything in the world, God would make that one wish come true. And that wish would be that God never felt that first moment of pain, or even know the sting of betrayal, because the omnipotent and omnipresent, beings that made this thing called the human brain, which we are still trying like crazy as scientists and researchers to figure out and map. And hey, Eddie, thank you for coming. Stay tuned. And it's like we're still trying to figure that out. We still can't map it. And then, did you notice the woman's reproductive system? Now she brings life, and it's like you mess with somebody that has that kind of creativity, you cause that person pain. It's like, I know, right? That's a tough one, to think if I had just one wish. But if I could wish anything, I would wish that God never felt pain, because somebody that's that creative, that omnipresent, that omniscient, that majestic, you hurt that person. Now the consequences, now a woman scorned, we all know, nobody want to mess with a woman scorned, because that's going to be a problem for everybody. I don't care if you were the problem, or directly, indirectly, or you just in her path. You a problem, she's going to let you know she's dealing with something, because she's a woman scorned. But you mess with somebody that's so creative that he can make it so that he can stop time, fast forward time, transport you through time. He oh my God, it's just wild that anybody hurt God. And it's like now we're enduring all the consequences. It's like if God only, never had that betrayal, that sting of betrayal, then we would never know the consequences of that. It's just as mystical as any dynamic creation that he made in just the human body alone, that makes it difficult for us to even take that puzzle apart and put it back together and make it function in the way that, it's supposed to function in the expected manner. It's like if we never allow God to be hurt, what would life be like? what would we be experiencing instead of consequences? I know one, for one, I like to laugh and, play and be, and have desirable consequences, desirable things to happen, not just to me, but to others, because I don't know about you, but I'm one of those type of people that when somebody else is happy, I'm happy for that person, even though it doesn't have anything to do with me, but, it's just affecting that person. And it's like, wow, it's difficult to imagine that some people, don't feel that way, especially when it's like your loved one or somebody that you love, and you like, man, I'm happy for you, and then you turn around like, that person like nothing, she thinks she all that, or he think he all that, and it's like, wow, that's that sting of betrayal that somebody with such a wild imagination as the I am who created everything, to the point where it's like, you can't even think of Pandora's box. You think Pandora's box is wild? It's like that has nothing to do with how majestic the creations that God made, and then you hurt that one. It's like, wow, I wouldn't want to be you. So I wouldn't want. However, I know that it's like a popular saying, "Oh, I wouldn't want to be you. I wouldn't want to be that person." But I wouldn't want anybody to be that person. I wish that, somebody who you ever see somebody who has a really big heart, really nice, genuine, transparent, and loving, even though they don't really know you, they're concerned about you. Like, oh man, you okay? You hurt? Are you serious? I mean, like, I see something's wrong with you. You want to talk about it? I know I don't know you, but maybe you could just, use an ear right now, and you'll never see me again, so you could feel comfortable in knowing that all of whatever you've been will remain between you and I, because I don't know anybody you know, and you don't know anybody I know, so I can't tell anybody your business. So you feel comfortable divulging information that you would never share with another living soul if you knew better. So it's like, this is the person that was hurt, somebody that's so loving and giving and caring and concerned, and you hurt this person. It's like, wow, what did you think was going to happen? Like, that person too nice to make you pay consequences? I don't know. Yeah, I see that guy in the mirror daily. Yeah, and it's like, a lot of us who look in the mirror could probably see that person, and can probably see, this was the catalyst that made me, you know, um, reap consequences on people, even if they didn't deserve it. Even if they weren't like the object of my aggression, they are going to pay for whatever, I'm feeling. So that was one of the things that I thought about, if I could make a wish. But if I had, just one wish, if I had control over any of that, if I had control over my life, things would be so much more differently. But, sorry, I keep putting that paper up there. But I I got my notes. I've been disheveled with my schedule being so busy. It's been difficult to keep things in order. But if I had just one wish, I would wish it all away. Wish God never felt hurt nor looked upon his creations like, man, I did that. I regret, having created that. And it's like, God wants, the inevitable moment for all of his creations that make his heart, you know, happy. But there was a pain that caused his heart to stop. And because he experienced that, he wants us to experience that, so that we will have a clear understanding of what it is that we're doing when we look at our neighbors and we can't be neighborly. When we look at our neighbors and we see something, that we could take advantage of. We see opportunities that we can hurt that person or take from that person or covet that person. Greed, it caused a lot of problems. Um, it's like, one of the problems for seeing somebody that you can take advantage of because you think that they're too nice and there won't be any consequences for you. One of the things about that is it's a reflection of who you are at your core. So whatever consequences, negative consequences that you endure, um, whatever that may be, no one will feel sorry for you because You hurt somebody that didn't deserve it. Somebody that if you would have done better, you could have enjoyed being happy right along with that person. It's like, how can you love someone who loves you unconditionally and you can still hurt that person? So if I had a wish, I'd wish that God was never hurt before. People who have you, by the balls, they can't see what's coming because their hands are full. Big kahunas, too big to handle, too cold to hold. That's the Ghostbusters song. Sorry about that. But I'm just saying, it's like you think that you have that person, in a bind in such a way that, oh, well, you too nice to do anything about it. You're going to do whatever I want you to do anyway. You always give me everything I ask you for. So I'm going to keep asking you for things, even though you say no. I'm going to keep taking advantage of you. But this is the thing about that. At some point, the person is going to say, look, I know that that's what you aim to do. I know your aim is to hurt me. But what you don't understand is the thing that hurts is that you are like that at your core. It's not the matter that you're trying to hurt me per se. More so than the matter is that I I love you unconditionally, but this is how you choose to act. Now I know we all see what's going on in Israel with the Palestinians and the Israelites and everybody, but it's like if you cannot see how what you are doing to the people that you can see, and it doesn't affect you to the point where you say things like, man, this isn't right, let me stop. This isn't right, let me support a different avenue for reconciliation, or let me do something differently so it's not hurting like this. And it's like, at your core, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And then we all look and say, well, why is God allowing this to happen? Why does God let these things happen? Why did God allow me to love and lose in love? Why did God allow me to have parents that I know and then lose my parents after having loved and invested all this time in them? Why did my child, why did my friend, my best friend, my only friend, my only true friend, why is the neighbor next door trying to kill me because I am different and they don't even know me? Why would you try to harm somebody because of their faith? It's like everybody wants to ask these questions, but nobody want to ask the question of, man, God, somebody hurt you, didn't they? You know what I'm saying? You ever see somebody outside and they so hurt, or not just outside, but anywhere in your path, in your journey, you see somebody and you say, man, who hurt you? Because the way they're behaving, it's like, God dang, somebody hurt you really bad, didn't they? You'll fall in love with somebody and they can't love you back, or they can't receive the love that you're giving without them being negative and defensive and on guard. And you're like, God dang, who hurt you? A lot of people say, who raised you? The behavior that you have is like, man, it's questionable. Like, who raised you? Wow, wolves or something? But it's like, we never imagine when we're enduring the consequences of our actions or our loved ones' actions, because it's not always our actions that we're reaping the consequences of, but the actions of our loved ones who decided that this is the behavior they're going to exhibit, which is going to cause consequences that everybody who loves them is going to, have to endure. And it's like, nobody's thinking about that. And it's like, if we were to think about it, really deeply think about it, when we asking God why don't we ask him, who hurt you? Can I do something to stop you from being hurt? Is there anything I can do so that you don't feel the pain you feel, so that maybe, just maybe, you can have some sort of joy, so that maybe more, pleasant, more desirable feelings can be felt overall without, just one person, but all of us, because God is the one that's controlling He's the one that touches people's hearts and minds and souls and spirits. So it's like if we really wanted the change to take place, we go to the source. When I have a problem with an organization, you know what I go? What I go to? I go up the chain of command until I reach the person. I'm like, man, do I need my lawyer in order to talk to you on the level of, making sense? Can we just talk without having to put lawyers involved? Can we just get to the root of the problem and fix it? Because it is more desirable that you be supported in your position, your CEO, VP, or president position, for you to be the one to get the recognition for having resolved the problem, even regardless of who it was that, actually solved the problem. But the fact of the matter that as a leader in your leadership, you were able to discern this is a voice that deserves to be listened to so that we can change things to be more desirable holistically and lucrative as far as stocks and investors and stakeholders are all concerned. But it's a holistic um, effect, a consequence that we can all experience and enjoy if we had just one wish. And that wish could take place every day if you were to just, one decision at a time. Yes, the Erudition Network would like for you to like, subscribe, and share. I say ring the bell because you never know when I'll get time to be on, and you don't want to miss an episode because I have some very interesting things coming up, and I don't know what my time frame looks like, what my schedule looks like. So I'll come on and say some things, and then I'm going to jump off because I don't have a whole lot of time. But I don't know. I just wish God was never hurt so we could all just be happy all the time, just happy, joyous, and never experience pain. But I suppose pain, serves its purpose. And I don't know, you know, sometimes people are driven by pain, driven by hurt, driven by the word no. When they can't accept no for an answer, they're like, look, you said no in a time where I need a yes, and I can't take a no. So I'm going to keep coming at you. Why did you tell me no? And then they tell you why they said no, and you fix those things, you address those issues, and you come back looking for that yes. Now, I don't know. Some people say, well, what makes a good person? A good person. What makes a leader a great leader a great leader? Is it the time or is it the situation? Let me tell you something. It's innate in everybody that when they encounter pain, what we're talking about today, when they encounter pain, it's a motivator. It's a game changer. It's a situation where you're like, well, you told me no, and I can't accept that. You hurt me, but I can't accept that. So now there's a consequence. Now there's a chain reaction that's motivated by something of force that can't be stopped. No matter what you do, this can't be stopped. So now we have a situation where you didn't try you didn't go into it thinking you was going to change the world. It was just a part of the process. Somebody said, they told me, they said, I was writing a dissertation for my PhD, and they said, you can't save the world with a dissertation. You can't save the world with a dissertation. And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm not necessarily trying to save the world with a dissertation thesis, but if it happens, wouldn't you like to be a part of that team? Anyway, we're going to get to that because that dissertation thesis is actually circulating globally and trending, and that did not have anything to do with me. That had everything to do with, prayer, supplication, and doing what you feel led to do by something outside of yourself. It is not that, oh, you trying to magnify yourself, you trying to do something big, you trying to do this, you think you all that and arrogant and greed and all of that. No. For a very long time, all of my life, okay, I've always worked behind the scenes because it's not my direct objective to be the one in the forefront. I'll put it that way. But it's come a time where a lot of the people, um, my elders, are stepping down, and they want people to understand who it was that was pushing them, who it was that was supporting them, who it was that was putting that bug in their ear and telling them, look, go ahead, you can do it. I can help you. I'll tell you what you need to do, and I'll support what you're doing. And in that, there will be generational wealth. So I'm accustomed to being me, but I'm not accustomed to sharing that information. And those people, they don't necessarily tell who it is until they feel led to do so. I get it, Mike. You know, good people are very rarely the ones that's put out there on Front Street like, oh, this is the person that you can overwhelm. So I have select clients who I do help because it is overwhelming. It's a task that's extremely daunting. You must be extremely clever and skilled. And it's like you have to do so many things really, really well all at once. And it's like, who can do something like that? Unless you pray. You can't do it. But if you pray, I guarantee God don't have no respect to person. He'll do it for anybody. I ain't all that. I'm just, you know, stardust leading us to the superstar, like Lecrae said. uh, Somebody said, you know, these thoughts that seem to be stated in order to discourage and dissuade the people from realizing, you know, we all have that awkward beat. And people say, well, you marching to the beat of your own drum, but that beat, that awkward beat is your heart and some desire down deep set in your heart for you to do something in particular that people may not necessarily want you to do. So they say things, and someone said, you can't save the world with a dissertation thesis. Um, my question is, you know, can any one dissertation be accredited to, you know, being so savvy that it improved the world? Yeah, let's find out. Someone said, you too stupid to go to school. That person who was said to be too stupid to go to school, we speak his name even now, long after he's dead. He's called Einstein. Someone said, you never attended formal schooling. You don't have formal education. How can you come and educate us and tell us a mathematical equation that changes the world by creating the numerical equation infinity? And it's like he said his response was, I pray and God gave me utterance. And there's no other explanation for these things but that you have prayed, and it's evident that you have prayed and God answered your prayer. You know, this can go on, but it's like, how can a group of bastardized people constantly produce new generations who will do significantly profound and positive contributions to a global society despite all the challenges this world throws at them? We see a culture of people who are abandoned. Those people who we see. There was this one NBA player, and or was it NFL? Well, anyway, the commentator was saying, "Oh, this person is really excelling as a professional ball player now, but 18 months ago, nobody wanted him. He was in a orphanage, but now he's millions of dollar national ball player making millions, and now everybody wants him." That was some shade if I never heard it, but I'm just saying that happens all the time where it's not necessarily a particular culture, but it is a bastardized people of diverse culture, diverse skills, diverse in every way you can imagine, but they've been bastardized, they've been abandoned. I recall a part in the Bible where it says, when thy mother and father forsake thee. It didn't say if, it said when. When thy mother and father forsake thee, there will I be in the midst. And God was saying that you don't have to worry about nobody. I know they're going to leave you. They were there for a season. They are only meant for a season because they have bodies that will not last as long as I I'm going to last. So you don't have to lean to those people. But I said all those things about those people to say, to quote a phrase, yes, we can, because we already have. Now, Obama said that yes, we can. I'm sure he got that slogan from somewhere else, but it's actually true. Yes, you can. Yes, we can, because yes, it is happening. Now, I don't think it was, anyone's intention to change the world per se. It just happened in the process of the 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 will to thrive, not just survive, because survival is different from thriving. Thriving means that you are comfortable enough to walk away from the deal. Now, I've heard a preacher or two say that who is successful and global in their business endeavors as well as their ministry. So, and also the late great Apostle Richard Daniel Hinton, who the ministry is that I have been under and grew up under, to include his godmother, who was my pastor, the Honorable Prophetess Dr. Hattie B. Jones. So it's like having these kind of examples, and my roots are in Chicago, though I'm not living there. It's still the matter of the fact that you're still affiliated and associated, because the way that sort of organization works, that sort of business structure works, is different from the mainstream business market where people invest in stocks and shares and, all that sort of thing. And you guys have stock tips in order to know when to invest, when to jump out of the investment and that sort of thing. I've studied the human mind and behavior for over 20 years, not to date myself, and business, executive business strategies and global businesses for uh, over 20 years. So I've seen a lot of things, but my life has been in the church. So I've seen far more than I'll ever say. Like my friend Will, if you didn't see that episode, go back. My friend Will was like, so I've seen a lot of things I'll never say anything about, but it's to say that those things that I've witnessed, I'm going to use in order to help. And if it happens to change the world in the process, well, God's will be done. I'm not going to hold back. Those things that I'm talking about in the dissertation thesis, I noticed a global problem that was plaguing society globally, and it was hindering development, and it's threatened to crash the global economy. And I kept studying it and praying. And yes, in my online school education with the University of Phoenix and with a school that I don't want to name currently because I don't know how that's going to go out, how that's going to work out. And I don't want to say negative things about anything. Originally, there was a problem when I attended the University of Phoenix. However, Dr. John Sperling was essential in fixing the problem. I didn't want to inform him, and I kept praying about it. And I was led to just write an email. Now it's like, how did somebody like you, nobody, a nobody, reach Dr. John Sperling, who created the University of Phoenix? Now I'm gonna tell you again. It's it's not what you think. Some people don't believe that prayer works. Some people don't believe that a man believeth, so is he. And then I'm a woman in this man's world. So it's like, who are you? I'm nobody. But let me show you something. Somebody said, oh, you don't have enough followers. Don't try to track my followers. Track my influence. Track all the things that I've written. Track how that has influenced the areas that it has influence. You think I don't know, but I do. I'm very much aware. However, back to Dr. John Sperling. You see, somebody who has the ingenuity, the intuitiveness, the creativity to create some program like the University of Phoenix. Now, I've watched the computer, enter the school market, back in the 80s when it finally hit where I was. I heard about it, but, you know, it was far beyond belief that it would ever reach the level that it could turn into a whole school, like the University of Phoenix, let alone anything else. So it was a fantastic idea, but it seemed more like a fantasy than an idea. And if more people knew about it, you would have more Gates, Bill Gates, and things, other people's names who I'll get into at a later episode. I want to have Tony Briscoe on the show for that, and I haven't been able to make the time to put that invite out there yet. So I'll get to it. You just stay tuned. You'll see. But John Sperling was ill, and I did not know that he was ill. But I had something. I felt led to call him. So I like to call it my first mind. I've said before, when people don't follow their first mind, they regret it. They live to regret it. And I think that first mind is really that innate gift of discernment that we all have that tries to lead us and guide us to make, better life decisions, if you will. So I called somebody that I trust, and I spoke with them, and they was like, yeah, well, some things are beyond our control. So we have to pray, and that's why we pray. So I was like, okay, that was reaffirming that I should just follow my first mind, follow what I was feeling led to do. And I wrote them an email, and it was Memorial's Day. I still have that email because that was significant that, somebody who didn't have to do it did it, that keeps happening. And I'm so appreciative because, like I said, I'm nobody. I'm a woman in this man's world. I'm an African American woman. And it's like, man, we are the lowest man on the totem pole when it comes to who you're going to listen to in a business deal or a business strategy, or, when it comes to investments and stocks and things of that nature that has lucrative strongholds on different business strategies. And, well, anyway, Dr. Sperling reached back out to me, and he assured me everything would be all right. And it was. So I was very appreciative. But it's to say that no is not the final answer. I don't care who told you no. Keep going until you get that yes. And I felt terrible because shortly after Dr. Sperling answered my email on Memorial's Day, he unfortunately didn't live much longer than that. He was dying from cancer. But I'm so grateful. And when he answered the call, I did pray. I prayed for him. I had to let God know how grateful I was that, somebody like him listened to somebody like me without having to throw names around, without having to tell him who I am and all. I'm a customer. I'm a paying customer, loyal paying customer, a student and a scholar in your program. So there's that. None of us is a nobody. We have to understand that. Well, some of us have titles. So I'm gonna define what I mean by a nobody. Some of us, we go around and we throw our weight around. We tell who we're affiliated with, who we know, and et cetera, et cetera. Those things may be facts that you may not know what the consequence of that is, what the perception of that connection may be. They may not even like the person that you're telling them you're affiliated with. They may not even care, so they may even test it. They may say, hey, are you really? Let's find out. Let me dig with you even more just to see who gonna give a crap. Let me shake the tree and see what falls out. So it really doesn't matter. So yeah, you could tell them that you're affiliated with the 1%ers who pay your bills and who see your problems and say, okay, do me a favor, solve this problem for me and don't worry about this bill or don't worry about that bill. And you could tell them who you're affiliated with, and guess what? That 1%er, that person in the hierarchy, that person in the upper echelon can disown you. It doesn't mean anything. And they can lie and say they don't know you. So yeah, at any given time you can have status and still be a nobody. That's that yeah. A lot of times titles don't mean anything to anybody. So when I say a nobody, what I'm saying is, humbly, um, I'm saying that it doesn't matter. What matters is the one who could touch the hearts and minds of man. That's the only one you really need to know, because that's going to get you in some places. And I can tell you, I can show you. Um, it's gotten me in some places, and I don't, like, for example, on LinkedIn, I didn't take that page seriously. That it doesn't really have, my resume on it like that. It's not really saying anything. It's just, tidbits of information that you could find if you was to use a computer, if you know how to use a computer. Um, and my Facebook page, I had over 11,000 followers, and I only had a profile picture. I never put any real pictures up, especially not of my children. I never put, you know, personal information out there, and yeah, people don't even know who they're talking to, but they can feel who they're talking to. There's a connection. There's something there that allows people who understand, who have an understanding of, I should listen. This is information that's going to be useful. It's those people that I'm talking to. So if I say something you don't understand, play it back a couple of times. Keep, going through your life and excelling in your life, and then play it again. And then perhaps you'll get it. You'll understand that, sometimes we say things and it's so common, but it's still, going over our heads because you're not ready to receive it. 1% is that every day. I don't know what that means. Okay, but anyway, it's like we're constantly searching for validation, and I think we perhaps may benefit greatly from looking at ourselves inwardly and making some adjustments and listening to that quiet, still voice that tells us and leads us to, um, well, perhaps know your own worth, but to understand how to be humble and how to make things happen and work for you instead of against you. Because you have no idea the power of the tongue. It cuts while it carves, and it carves while it cuts. So you must be very careful because it is a powerful tool. I wouldn't want to see harm come to anybody because I understand karma. I understand yin yang. I understand for every force there is an equal or greater counter force that you got to be careful, because regardless of how we imagine things may be, the facts are the facts, whether we like it, whether we approve of it, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And I said that to say that the things that are coming up, I may have to take a different approach, a new approach. So I have to bring you along in the way that I said in the very first episode of going to start this online interactive service. So in that, I said I'm going to take you somewhere. So you got to kind of like stick with me here, stick with me, because these ideas are connected to computers. That's one. That's a major one. It's connected to how we are conditioned to believe, think, and behave. That's two. And three, financially lucrative, extremely lucrative to the point of generational wealth for those who are on board with investing in those avenues. And I've I got to the point where I'm going to close off that door because I think I've reached everyone that I can. So the opportunity is closed to anyone else trying to jump in. I did try to involve more diverse people, but you can't drag people, to do things kicking and screaming all the way. Even if they say they want to be involved, you can't grab them kicking and screaming. You can lead a horse to water. You can show the horse how to drink. You can throw the horse in the water and say, "Drink, horse, drink." But some people, even though they're good people, you can't reach them. So there's that. So it didn't take, Dr. Sperling, but a moment to make a quick decision. And he's not the only one. There's VPs and stockholders, shareholders, investors who I have reached, and I intend to keep in touch with and connect and reconnect from different genres of industry, mainstream business, to include organizations that are not necessarily able to be invested in, such as church organizations that have global holds on various communities, to include mainstream businesses. So with that being said, I want to take you along now because my loyal viewers are worth tagging along so you can see all that you were asking about. And you were saying, you got to do a podcast, Tina, you got to do a podcast. My homeschooler groups, my military homeschool groups, my government groups of connections. And I did reach out to a lot of people. I'm sorry if, I didn't make it sound like really, really important and really serious. You seem busy. So, there's no sense in, distracting you from whatever it is that you have going on that's got you so distracted. But you can still be a participant as far as a consumer and a participant from a different perspective. However, this is going to be impactful to a great deal of people globally, and you'll be happy that you were here to see how I strung you along and showed you, all the way through the process. The dissertation thesis is based on industrial organizational psychology perspective in a different and unique way, because industrial organizational psychologists normally look at human resource concerns. However, human resources are connected to a vast array of organizations, mainstream, industrial, and banking and servicing of different sources. You name it. Every organization has a hierarchy, and that hierarchy reaches depths that a lot of people just don't think about on a regular basis. So I'm gonna bring that more to your attention so you understand how that affects us, what that does, and how is that impactful to you sitting at home watching this show. I've spoke with a great deal of people who write for change, who develop tests that you need for certifications or credentials and things of that nature. So when I say these things are impactful to you, you're the one that's taking the test. You're the one that has to, give the opinion of why that test was impossible for you to pass, though you possess the skills and ability. You are the people who are investing a great deal of money in these products and services that aren't being serviced properly. And that's the reason why these people hire people like me to say, oh, this is the problem. This is why you're missing your market. This is why you can't reach this group. So you're still participating no matter who you are, no matter, what you think your status is, if you have money and you're spending money on products and services, your voice matters. I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to show you what's been going on and how that's affecting us in a holistic way, so that those wishes that you make, that you feel like, okay, well, that wish only affects me. I wish I had, I wish I didn't have all these bills. I wish I could pay my mortgage. I wish I had a mortgage. I wish I could pay my rent. I wish, I had a car that works that can get me from A to B. I wish I had a luxury vehicle so I could feel good about, my worth. So I could feel good about the things that I'm doing, the things that I'm motivated to do. Now, I did mention that at one point, I did mention that I have selected clients, but now I'm taking on more clients, and being a little less selective because I need to be more proactive in helping more people, so that I can. I don't need people to introduce me. I can introduce myself. I just did not want to come out of the background because I have a lot that I was doing, and I did not want to be put in the limelight to show. But something happened most recently, with my father passing and not knowing what I did. He will never know that my dissertation thesis is circulating globally long before I ever completed the PhD program, from the perspective of those who can say yeah or nay, pass or fail. But from the perspective of, did you accomplish the goal? Yes, I accomplished the goal. The goal was to advance the field of human resources, which I did, and inform the relative theories, which I did. And the thing about computers, and the reason why I love going to an online school, is because it's far more easy to track everything that I have done, because the system is set up in such a way that all the information must be saved for at least 7 years. And in that, there's this thing called a Dropbox. If you go to online school, you'll know online schools have this inbox, this Dropbox, which is the email which certifies and verifies information coming and going, received and sent. So in that, you can track, especially now we see as AI has evolved to show us how to track things faster and easier with just a one word search like Google. When you put one word in Google, and it just pops up with all this information. So when you're led to do something and you do that in good faith, you don't have to worry about credit. You don't have to worry about who's going to know what you did. You don't have to worry about anything, because when you're led to do something, when you're led to move in the way that you move, it doesn't have to be explained to anybody. You don't even have to know in all the ways that it's going to benefit you, so that nobody can take what God gave you. No one can take from you what it is that you're going into, because you're led to go there. Now, everything is only for a season, and you can't stop the message by stopping the messenger. That's not possible. History has shown and proven that. For example, the devil knew about Jesus. He wasn't able to stop him. And even beyond that, Jesus knew about Judas. Jesus could have said, hey, I know what you're doing, and he could have put an end to it. But he chose not to, because he was like, look, I'm tired of this. Y'all too messy. God, for a long time, had already stopped walking the earth, because God was like, look, I gave y'all free will, but y'all real grimy with it. So I'm not going to walk this dirty earth anymore, because y'all tripping. But I give you free will to do what you want. You are entertaining. So I'm going to let it, play out, and give you time and opportunity to change. A lot of people said things for example, if you read the Bible or any books of faith, they give you the understanding that you have room to change. And even though God sees how you're going to do what you're going to do, he also sees that he doesn't want anyone to be lost. So he does give you change opportunities, changing moments in your life, events in your life that have catastrophic consequence that can change that one thing in your life just before you even realize that thing changed everything in your life. But read those stories, because those stories are helpful to understand that, that why does God allow bad people to do bad things? Why does God allow these things to happen? There was a tax collector in the Bible, and they use the word tax collector, to justify killing people who believed and followed Jesus and his teachings. And there was a point where this tax collector, now he wasn't the one that was killing them, but he was the one, the mole, okay, if you will. So he was the one pointing out, this person and that person. And there came a point where a catalyst in his life, a big situation occurred in his life that changed everything for him. So he stopped being a tax collector, a mole. He stopped being the problem and started being the solution, because now he had the shared experience that showed him what he couldn't see before, because he at first thought, hey, I'm about to be in with the in crowd. If I do this tax collector job, if I do this one thing, then I'm going to get to the point where I don't have to lean on, these little scraps that they're giving me. I don't have to depend on check to check like this particular opportunity is giving me. I'm going to move up the ranks so I can be more comfortable like those people are. He had an experience where it was like he came to know why those followers were led to understand Jesus, who was only pointing out the I am, the creator, the only God that's over all of creation. So he came to have that experience for himself, even though he may not have thought that that was even possible. Because how is it that you, somebody who caused death to these people of God, now you get to experience, and not only experience, but to lead us? Man, that's deep. That's deep. But you just never know. You got to keep living. You don't know what's going to happen in your life. Just keep living. Keep living. But for those who keep following to see what's happening, I want you to know I had one wish. Just one wish. And if you had one wish, what would your wish be? Now, I don't know if God will ever turn back time and, make that happen and erase all of it just so I can get that one wish. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just a nobody talking about somebody who can help save everybody. So I don't know if God would ever honor somebody's wish like that, who was the last person made. The last person made in God's creation. I don't know if that's because he saved the best for last, or if it was like, okay, that's the second thought. Now I see man can't do it all alone, encompassing both man and woman. So let me just split them up. But it does give us some insight to understand that if God made man in his image, and Adam was the first, and he had to take part of Adam out and make Eve, then it lets us to understand that God has a hard side and a soft side. And from that, we can understand that when we see a woman scorned, we can see how God reacts to being hurt. We can see how God reacts to when we stand up and show ourselves approved, because that's the man, that's the hard side of God, where he says, okay, you listen, you follow directions, you doing it, let me honor that, let me respect that, Let me show you why that was valuable. Let me show you a little something to keep you coming back and keep you holding on and holding out. But um, sometimes we make a wish. That wish doesn't happen. It doesn't unfold the way we think it will, but it happens little by little. And if that happened because you were in the path of some people who were going to be great leaders in their community, in their organization, and they remember your name and they pass your name along, and um, it helps to pay your bills and make things happen for you and makes room for you. It's called your, I read somewhere, I think it said your gift or your skills or your ability, something like that, will make room for you. My work has made room for me, and it precedes my name because I'm a woman. My name changed. My name changed a lot. And according to the name that you call me, that's how I'll know how you know me and who you know me from. So you may call me different names, and I'll know who you're talking about. Just like we call God different names, he still know who we talking about, and he still answers. So it's no biggie to him if he didn't destroy them people who, called him by another name. Then you have to understand that it is all right. It's all right. I may answer to a whole lot of names, but the one I won't answer to is female dog, because that is such a name that's reserved for dogs like my pet Evie. She can be called that, but you better be real careful when you're referring to a woman by that. But anyway, um, the wish, back to the wish. The wish that you make may not unfold the way you may think that it will, but it may still happen in ways, small ways, and you can help a whole lot of people that way. I don't know if my wish was like, okay, let me put you in a position that's going to help you help others create generational wealth, where it's going to put you in a different position or a different category or whatever. I support the people who are in the leadership position already, and let them go forth. And when they select their successors and everything, I don't have a say in that, but they select their successors, and whatever their successors do, they still know my name. They'll call when they need. I don't worry about it. I just keep moving in the way that I move. So that dissertation thesis that a lot of people are seeing, and they're wondering, how did you do that? This is how. This is how. I'm very transparent. I don't have anything to hide. It's out there, and the reason why I chose online school is so that it would be easy to track. There you go. That's why I chose that. And I could have chose to go to any school in the world, but I was led to go to the one I went to. Why? Because a lot of times we don't know why we are where we are. For example, when my children were born, and when I was my firstborn son was born, and we had to go to the NICU. He was healthy, everything was fine, but we're in the NICU. It's like the baby ICU for a newborn. Why are we here? A lot of times you are in the place that you are in, and it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the reason you are there and the people you are going to help, the people you are going to reach. You can't reach a whole lot of people in Harvard because you're only going to reach a select audience. You're only going to reach a select group of people. But when you are in a position where you can reach the common man, that is a significant position you should not take for granted. And I didn't. I took every opportunity, and soon you'll see, because I'm going to show you in a new way, because that's the way I'm led to go. When you're told no, you have to understand that was the conditioned thinking that you had, and that's why you went the way you did. But when you go the way that you're led to go, it's easier. The room and opportunities are open and unrestrained. So that's my time for today. Keep watching. Got something for you. Again, remember, mental health is physical wealth. Teddy.
Mental health is physical wealth.